Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome to my first reaction to episode 11 of Frieren. Episode 10 was really interesting to watch because we got to see more of Frieren's training, how she subdues her mana to trick demons into thinking she's weaker than she actually is, how demons hoard mana kind of as a status symbol in the same way that humans use wealth as a status symbol. So they're unable to do what Frieren does, which is subdue it, which also Fern has learned to do. So it was kind of really fascinating to watch that dynamic, especially seeing Aura underestimate Frieren. I'm currently reading Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, and I got given this for Christmas. So I've only read one other Brandon Sanderson book, which was Tress of the Emerald Sea. I absolutely adore that book. I devoured it in one sitting. Yumi is also supposed to be really, really good. I am 90 pages in and I am loving it. This has become my favorite to the point that I've actually looked at getting the Dragonsteel hardback version of this from America, which is like $60, which is kind of ridiculous. But I like having books that I read and I like having books that are display only. Please let me know if you're reading anything fun or cool over Christmas, or if you're just reading anything in general. My goal for 2025 is to read 50 books. My goal this year was 25 and I read 20. So I was 5 off, but I don't think that's too bad. I'm going to stop talking because I'm just going to keep rambling about nothing. So we're going to get into episode 10. I'm excited because I've missed this show. The show is so good.
フリーレン様、遅かったね。アウラを倒したんですね。
激しい戦いであったろうに、どれも大きな損傷はない。感謝する。北側諸国の英傑たちによく敬意を払ってくれた。
It's gonna be linked back to Himmel.
前はもっと派手にやっていたんだけど
Yeah.
ね。ヒンメルに怒られたから。
そりゃそうだろうな。怒られて当然だ。俺だって怒る。
ヒンメル様はフリーレン様のしつけが上手ですね。でもまあ、そうだよね。
About paying
これが
respect
普通
to
の
the
リア
dead.
クションだ。よくリュグナーたちを倒した。偉いぞ。
どうした？
Is that his son?
フリーレン。わしは今日ほど誰かに感謝したことはない。
Oh, it is. I hate this show because it makes me tear up like so easily.
お前が望んだのは防護結界について記されたグラナト家に代々伝わる大魔法使いフランメの魔導書。本当にこんな魔導書でいいのか？この魔導書は
偽物。
They're all fake.
そうだ。口伝により継承されたこの町の防護結界魔法とは似ても似つかぬものだ。それより堅苦しい言葉遣いはなしにしよう。お前から見ればわしなど赤子のようなものだろう。
ヒンメルとアイゼンが王様にタメ口叩いて処刑されかけたんだよね。
So she's skeptical.
懐かしいな。ヒンメルの泣き叫ぶ顔。
はははは。死罪だなんて大げさな。
それとなクソガキ。わしにタメ口叩くのはこの町では重罪だ。
悪いなおっさん。中央諸国は野蛮ですね、カッカ。マジかよ。
裏庭の木切り終えました。
ご苦労。
I love Stark. Oh my goodness.
あの時言ったのは小僧を逃がすための方便だ。
よかったですね、シュタレク様。気絶して。
He's not over it.
アウラ討伐の方は町の者たちにも伝えておいた。皆英雄たちをねぎらいたがっている。
She's not gonna want to though. She kind of doesn't like the pomp and ceremony. I love the music in this show. It's just so stunning. Why am I getting emotional? Oh my god.
買い出し終わったぜ。
I'm so over this show making me cry. For like the serious reasons as well. Oh, I think it's the music. Like the music gets to me the most, I think. It's kind of the same with like Attack on Titan. Like the emotionality of the music is what like gets me worked up and crying. But oh my god, I just feel silly crying as much as I do at this show. And I think it's just the beauty of it. It's just how far Frieren has come without realizing how far she's come, understanding and complimenting her comrades, appreciating what they have done to help her defeat Aura. The fact that Himmel was mad that she would destroy Aura's puppets because it was disrespecting the dead. They wouldn't receive the burial that they deserved as warriors. They weren't receiving the treatment that they deserved because they are only puppets because they tried to defeat Aura, and seeing that she begins to kind of take that message to heart, but also seeing the way that they all get the respect that they deserve. They're remembered, they're not forgotten. And that seems to be something that is like a running core theme of this show is memory and nostalgia and holding on to those memories of those that came before and of who we love and who we've lost. And we see this with Frieren and Himmel and how her interactions with Himmel influence her decisions in life despite his death. We see that with the bodies of the soldiers now being commemorated and remembered that their fight wasn't for nothing. It's just such a beautiful message of cherishing the memories of those that we have lost and not allowing ourselves to forget the sacrifices that they have made, but also the impact that they have had on our lives. I mean, that's why I love this show so much. It's just such a beautiful message and it's portrayed so amazingly. And it's just very different to the other two anime shows that I'm watching, which are Death Note and Attack on Titan. I mean, that's probably why it makes me cry more because it's so very human. The core concepts of it very much tap into the aspect of what it means to be human. And I just think the storytelling in this is phenomenal. Honestly, 10 out of 10 for me, anime wise.
フリーレン、お前は魔王城のある大陸最北端のエンデを目指しているそうだな。だが、今北部高原の情勢が
There's going to be different factions, aren't they?
人の往来が
Of
制
like
限されている。
demons.
冒険者の場合でも一級魔法使いの同行が必要だそうだ。
大陸魔法協会が認定する魔法使いの資格ですよ。資格？私も旅立ちの時生徒で取得しました。3級魔法使いの認定証。そういえばなんかやってた。
Frieren's like, excuse me, when did this happen?
フリーレン様、まさか無資格の闇魔法使いだったん
Of
ですか？
course she is. She has no need for that.
言わないでよ。どうせこの正常の証ももう使えないんでしょ。何ですかその骨董品は。
さすがの俺でも大陸魔法協会は知っている。少なくとも半世紀以上前からあるぜ。
全然最近じゃん。ともかくこのままでは先に進めません。あまり詳しくはないのですが、確か北側諸国でも一級試験が受けられる場所があり
Oh
ましたよね。
lord, she's gonna have to take an
北側諸国
exam?
最大の魔法都市オイサーストだな。
That's so
シベ
silly.
ア山脈を越えたずっと先だ。フリーレン、グラナト家はこの恩を決して忘れん。良い旅を。
It's snowing.
そろそろ冬ですね。ほらね、迷った。
Jeez.
どうしよう。
Can't see a thing. I'm not a big
シベリア
fan
山
of
脈に
snow.
入る前に遭難とか、シャレにならないよ。シュタルク様、起きてください。
What
寝
is
たら
it
死に
with
ますよ。
Stark? Like every
ベリースペシャルってこんなに小さかったっけ？
知り
every
ませんよ、
episode
そんな
he
こと。
passes out or something.
どうしましょう。この強風だと魔法で飛ばして運ぶわけにもいかないね。
He'll blow
多
away.
分どっかに飛んでっちゃう。
Oh my god, Fern is strong though.
なんでこの人こんなに重いんですか。
いい匂い。
置いていっていいですか。なんだか人の気配がしますね。先客がいるのでしょうか。とにかく入るよ。なっちゃう。
That noise sounds really sus. Oh, okay.
いいぞ。温まってきた。
It's an elf.
フリーレン様、ここはダメでございます。他を探しましょう。なんで。中に変態がいるからです。
変態とは心外だな。待て、お前エルフか。
It's rare to see other elves.
同族と会うのは300年ぶりくらいだな。エルフはもう絶滅したのかと思っていたぞ。
私もだよ。
文句のクラフトだ。
魔法使いフリーレン。同じく魔法使いのフェルンです。こちらは戦士のシュタルク様。
しかしオレオール、
Wait,
天国を目指す旅か。
is he gonna join them?
信仰心が熱いのはいいことだ。
Is he gonna be the fourth? Because there was 4 of them on the original journey. We had a priest, we had a warrior, we had a mage, and then we had I guess Himmel serves as like a hero soldier figure. And now we have 2 mages, a warrior, and potentially a monk. I feel like he kind of has to come on this journey because it's rare for her to meet another elf. Also, he's a monk, so he kind of fits into that priest function. I wonder if he'll join them.
シュタルク様の体温が。
暖かくて心地いい。それにあんなに大きいジャンボベリースペシャル。俺どうしちまったんだ。確か猛吹雪で。あ、あ、誰このおっさん。
騒がしいな。
せっかく人肌で温めてやったというのに、なんたる態度だ。
人肌って
I love this show so much.
いい体してんな。
シュタルク様、
いや、そういう意味じゃなくて、よく鍛え上げられたいい体だ。
Why do I feel like this is a lot of fan service? Because it keeps like
でも
honing
名前
in
を
on
送ったの
his
は間違いねえ
muscles.
だろ。
スタルク、お前はここで休んでいろ。ところでフリーレン、お前は俺のことを知っているか？
全然。
だろうな。俺もお前のことなんてこれっぽっちも知らん。
勇者様ご一行の魔法使いですよ。
その前は
何が言いたいの？
俺たちはエルフってことだ。
No, he wants to know about her past. Frieren stealing all the blankets. Jesus. Oh. No? I thought he was gonna kill the bunny. Even Freyren's joining in on the prayer. I love how the progression of time is so fluid.
お前たちのおかげで無事北側諸国の長い冬を越えられた。
Like the way that it demonstrates time is just a really, really cool concept. Like we get very little glimpses into time progression through just little things like Frieren not joining in the prayer, but Stark and Fern joining in, and then her eventually joining in, which gives the indication that quite a bit of time has passed for her to do so. We also got instances of time progression in previous episodes where we see the town being built up and everything speeds up, and Freyren's life is shown kind of in comparison to be quite slow and leisurely. Her time with the party of heroes goes really, really quick that you can barely see what's happening on the screen. You would have to slow it right down to kind of see. And that's meant to show us that in the life of her, that is merely a blip of time. 10 years is a blink. It's so quick that it barely registers in her mind compared to everything else she's experienced that we also see, like the town forming, town being built up. All this takes like years and years and years. And we see that it's sped up, but we see it and it's easy to follow what's happening. And then we see that time with her in the forest that's also sped up but easy to follow. And then those 10 years are like, if you blinked your eyes, you'd miss it if you were watching. So obviously that's how it feels like to Frieren, which is a blink of time in a very long lifespan. It's just so interesting to see that they don't just skip. They don't just go 6 months later. They actually show the time progression. They make us feel that progression through like little hints here and there. We see Frieren having lived this long life. We see this blip of time with the party of heroes, but yet that blip of time has had more impact on her life than anything else, because we've also seen that she has lived in isolation for a century. You know, she has kept to herself. So it also explains why she has very limited ability to interact with people, because she has never really interacted with anyone outside of Phlegm. So it's kind of hard to let yourself get close to people if you've never had that interactions. I find it all like super, super interesting that they don't just skip it, that they include it in the show. They include the little subtle images of the characters as the time is progressing. So we see that progression, we feel that progression. There's something really refreshing about it. And again, I think it ties back to this human aspect of seeing time and feeling that time rather than just being thrust in to a time skip, which can be quite abrupt and jarring as a viewer. I think it's really well done in this show.
クラフトはどうして女神様を信じているの？
フリーレンは信じていないんだな。
この世界の長い歴史の中で実際に姿を現したことは一度もない。
若いな。俺も昔はそうだった。
Oh!
だが今は心の底から女神様を信じて。
He just said that Fern was young, so he must be a lot older.
俺の成してきた偉業も正義も知っている奴は皆死に絶えた。だから俺は死んだら天国で女神様に褒めてもらうんだ。お前の人生は素晴らしいものだったってな。自分の生きてきた軌跡が誰にも覚えられちゃいないってのはあまりにも酷だ。
クラフト、それはただの私たちの願望だ。
そうだな。天国もか、フリーレン。
Oh, the poor fox.
お前が信じないって言うのなら、女神様の代わりに俺がお前を褒めてやる。
意外ですか？
うん。まさかハイターがこの村の孤児院の復興資金を出すなんてね。
私も孤児でしたから。きっと女神様も清く
Oh,
正しく
she's
生きた
seen the
私を褒めてくださることで
similarities.
しょう。
酒を飲みながら何を言ってるんだこの生臭坊主は。
Yeah, but that
Frieren.
doesn't underestimate all the good deeds
あな
he's
たに
done.
は褒めてくれる人はいますか？あなたは女神様を信じていないようなので、身の上を話していただければ代わりに私が褒めますよ。
だらだらと生きてきただけだよ。
It's so
褒
crazy
め
to
られ
see
る
the
ようなことなんて何にも
parallels.
ない。
常に魔力を制限しているのに？それは血の滲むような努力の賜物に見えますが、
気がついていたの。
何年一緒に旅をしていると思っているんですか？それに高額のためにもなります。
なんで？
もしかしたら私の子供は魔法使いになるかもしれませんよ。
That's crazy.
僧侶は生涯独身でしょ？
Yeah, but he'd adopt.
遠慮しておくよ。もう別のやつに褒め。
いい友人を持ったな、フリーレン。大事にしろ。
いや、その人は
Oh
もう
no!
今は天国にいるよ。
They're all in heaven.
いずれ会えるな。
そうだね。
Oh, the
俺はこ
show.
っちだ。フリーレン。
Oh, he's not
今
joining
生の
them.
別れとは思わん。何百年後かにまたな。
Oh, that's such a
おっさんも元
shame.
気だな。楽しかったぜ。
ペンダントありがとうございました。
Oh no, I thought he would have joined them. Well, I guess there's maybe still potential for him to join them in the future, but I don't know. I just thought like it would be nice because he kind of serves the function of the priest, but as the monk. Yeah, I thought Frieren would have maybe invited him along because of the fact that she hasn't seen an elf in so long. But then again, I guess it kind of makes sense. Frieren really isn't quite that sentimental. Like she is, she just doesn't like to admit it. We had a good run of episodes where I didn't cry. And then we hit this episode. I think we've had 5 episodes where I haven't cried. So I knew it was about time that there was going to be an episode that made me cry, and it was this one. And that's fine. We had a good run. I knew I was going to have to cry eventually because the show just has such a beautiful way of hitting you in the gut with like memories, nostalgia, with making you come to validate and appreciate the people around you. Just seeing the parallels of Haita being like, well, I was an orphan, and maybe one day your skill of suppressing mana will be useful to my child if they're a mage. And just seeing the fact that he did end up adopting Fern and raising Fern as his child, who was also an orphan. Just the parallels in the show is stunning. Like nothing is brought up that doesn't have a meaning to it, and nothing is brought up that doesn't eventually serve a point in the future. And I think that's what I really love about the storytelling in the show, is that like nothing is thrown in randomly that doesn't eventually have meaning or doesn't eventually have an emotional resonance to it. And I think it's rare to see media that does that. That's one of the things I'm noticing with anime, is that anime does that extremely well. And I can see why people love anime and praise it so much. As somebody that isn't a big anime watcher, hasn't really watched anime since she was 14, I can 100% understand why people love this media and love this genre, because from the other shows I've watched, everything has a point, everything has a meaning. Whereas sometimes when you watch like TV shows or movies, and this isn't me doing the whole but anime's superior argument, but sometimes when you watch TVs and movies, they'll throw something in for the shock, or they'll throw something in as a twist, and it just won't make sense with the story, or it feels random, or they'll forget to bring it back up again, and you're just kind of like, well, what was the point of that? Whereas everything I'm noticing from Death Note to Attack on Titan to Frieren is everything has significance and everything has meaning, which shows that the writers have sat down, they have perfected their craft of storytelling, because they know what they want to depict, they know what they want to include, what has meaning, what has symbolism, what they want to represent in a way that other writers don't, because they maybe don't see it as a craft worth honing, but more as a gimmick to make money. Whereas anime seems to be people very passionate about what they do and take these portrayals seriously. It's just nice as someone who has studied literature to see a new medium. And I know a lot of anime actually originate from manga, but there's also differences between them, which is what I'm really excited about, is being able to read the mangas once I finish the shows, to be able to kind of see those comparisons and see how the storytelling takes place in a way that maybe differs when written instead of viewed. And I think there's going to be an interesting comparison to be made. So maybe that's a video I'll make at some point, is like comparing Frieren to the manga, comparing Attack on Titan to the manga, comparing Death Note to the manga. I think that might be interesting. So if that's something you guys would like to see, that's something I can do at a later point, but I need to watch the shows and I also need to read the manga. So it's probably going to be a very, very future-esque video, but yeah, if people would like that, I don't mind giving that a go, seeing as my field is more written word and text more so than anime, TV shows, media. So this is a new field for me, and this is what I keep having to remind people is I'm not going to get everything because I am learning about a new field essentially. It's been really fun to analyze. It's been really fun to see these stories progress, but I also don't want to give the false impression that I'm some miraculous expert that's going to know everything about storytelling or is going to be able to provide all these like really succinct philosophical answers, which sometimes I think I make a good point, or sometimes I pick up on something that is really interesting. But yeah, a lot of the time I'm just blown away by the level of detail, blown away by how beautiful the story is as it's progressing. Sometimes I will make references to literary terms, like when I said that Frieren is a Bildungsroman, which I still think it is a Bildungsroman, and a Bildungsroman is a journey of inexperience to experience. And again, with Frieren, it's not so much about inexperience with like magic, it's more coming to terms with how much Himmel and Eisen and Heiter mean to her and how much impact they've had on her life. She starts off very blasé, very believing that they didn't have an influence, and now we're beginning to see a Frieren as she progresses through this journey and she reminisces and she makes those parallels and those connections. She's beginning to come to the understanding and realization that their lives had such a significant impact on her, no matter how short that time was, that she is unable to forget them. And eventually, the knowledge she gains is going to be displayed through her interactions with Stark and Fern. So we're seeing that knowledge beginning to come to mind through her recollections, through her reflections, and then she begins to use that to build relationships that are meaningful with Fern and Stark. We see her praising them, we see her becoming very emotionally attached to them in a way that she maybe necessarily wasn't with the other party. It's not to say that she wasn't caring. We see a lot more of a sisterly love between Fern and Frieren. We see her being very affectionate with Fern in a way that we don't necessarily see her being with the others. And it could be because Fern is a girl. She's known Fern since she was a child, so that sentimentality is there. Even with Stark, Stark is fairly new in. She hasn't known him as long, but she still makes the effort to compliment him. She still makes the effort to appreciate what he can do and to recognize the talent that he has. And it's just a stark difference from the Frieren that first began her journey to the north to the Frieren we have now. And again, that comes from reminiscence, memory, and learning that they had more of an impact on her life than she initially thought. So it's, again, that journey from inexperience to experience. And I imagine once she reaches heaven and she interacts with Himmel, which is going to break me. I already know it's going to break me. she's going to finally come to that understanding of how much these interactions mean to her and her ability to hold on to these memories and her ability to appreciate what humans have to offer in her life, no matter how short their lifespan is. I love this show so, so much. I say that every outro because it's true. I think hands down, this is probably one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in my life, and I'm really excited to watch episode 12. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!